I ran 14.5 miles this week and it took me 142 minutes to do that. That's an average of a 9:48-minute pace per mile. Now, I know what you might be thinking. That's not that impressive. And it's not, because I'm at the beginning of my marathon journey, and it's something where my body just won't allow me to run too much faster than that. Otherwise, I'm going to get an injury. Now, it's not going to be one of those major injuries, but it's going to be one of those things that tweaks me and puts me out for a few days. So it made me think, how am I supposed to balance not getting injured while still wanting to train for a marathon? Today's topic is a lot about injuries and wanting to figure out the balance between trying not to injure yourself and still training and putting stress on your body so that you're not letting it become weak. And a problem I have with this is that I still feel like I'm invincible. I feel like I'm just like a little kid running around. No matter what I can do, I won't get hurt. But I'm starting to realize with a lot of these like high endurance type things or high load type things, like squatting with really heavy weight or running for a really long amount of miles, that my body is really starting to hurt a lot more when I do that. And I don't mean my body as in my muscles are actually breaking down. I feel like my muscles are getting stronger than ever, but I can't continue to train as hard every single time because of my ligaments. So the ligaments and tendons in your legs, they take a lot longer time to adjust when you're starting out running. So what I figured out was when I started running, my lungs caught up really quick to where they needed to be. I could run at a comfortable pace without really breathing hard. The only reason I'm breathing hard is because I'm talking. So I felt like I could run forever like that. And then the next thing came, and I was like, all right, what's the next thing in the set of things I need to work on? And that was my muscles. And then my muscles, they took a second to get used to it. And in fact, they're still not used to it, but they're getting better than they were before. Before, I'd run like a mile and they'd be gassed. And now they can handle a lot more than that, but they still can't quite handle the load I'm asking them to take. And so then it goes to the next thing on the list, tendons and ligaments in my legs. And those, because they take longer to adjust, they are not liking it. And they are not ready for what I'm giving it. So what I'm trying to do is balance how much stress I can give my tendons and ligaments without them snapping or straining or pulling or doing anything that would give me a setback for like 2-3 weeks. In the knees, I can feel there's a bunch of different tendons and ligaments that are connecting it. Got the IT band on my hamstring that's struggling, and then we also have the patella tendon that's struggling. In addition to that, I also have my Achilles. And so now that I know that my Achilles and my knees are struggling quite a bit, you think, all right, well, you got to rest. You got to give them time, ample time to heal, which is true. You always need to give your body ample time to recover and rest from the stress that you're giving it. But there's a point in which the amount of rest you give it is no longer worth it. I remember for a long time, I hurt my wrist and I couldn't use it. And it just kept aching and aching and aching. And I kept letting it rest because I thought that's what you're supposed to do. Rest and ice it, do all that. But it wasn't working. So then one day, I decided to deadlift. Decided to give it a little bit of stress. And what happened was the muscles around it got stronger. And when the muscles got around it got stronger, it all of a sudden became better. And I could use it again. So I have to take the same approach with my legs. You have to let it rest and recover. But when it's just about good again, you gotta give it more stress to let all of the muscles around it adapt to it. Because that's what your body is really meant for. Your body's meant to adapt to whatever situation you give it. Now, it does that to a certain extent. I mean, you can't say, well, I'm gonna adapt it to lift 5,000 pounds. Can't do that. But within reason, it will adapt. Oh my God. So what I'm trying to do right now is play that little fine line of, hey, my Achilles and my knees hurt, but I gave them 2 days of rest. And now that I gave them 2 days of rest, I should be able to run on them again and force my quads to make up for the fact. Now, what this also means is that when you're running, you have to be extremely careful with how you treat your body. So the line I'm playing with right now is just listening to my body so that the line between injuries versus training hard isn't crossed. And I hate how people say, listen to your body. I think that is one of the dumbest sayings ever. I hate that saying because people use it to mean a bunch of different things, when what I mean it for is play around with what your body can handle. So one day you're going to go out here, inevitably, and you're going to run. And you're going to run so hard, you injure yourself. And you're going to like either tear something or tweak something or do something so bad that your body can't handle it. What that's going to do is sideline you for a little while. But instead of getting upset by it, I just want you to remember the feeling. And then the next time you are going on a long run like that, and you feel the same pain, you know you can't cross that threshold. That's what I mean by listen to your body. Listen to the stuff it is signaling to you from the past about what it couldn't handle. So what I did the other day was I ran 6 miles. My body was really struggling, but I kept going because although my tendons felt weak and not great, I could feel that it wasn't quite the same as what had happened when I think, had like an undiagnosed patella tendon strain. I think I had an undiagnosed patella tendon strain where I felt it kind of give out, but I was too young to realize what had happened. So I knew what that feeling was, and I knew it hurt like a motherfucker. So even though I was running, my patella tendons felt weak. It didn't feel like they were going to give out. It didn't have that same feeling. So I was just listening to my body and listening to what it was saying, when really all it was saying was, this doesn't quite feel the same as what had happened when you got injured. Now, 2 days after that, I had not given myself enough rest. And then what happened was I felt my right knee give a little twinge, and I was like, oh, this is what happened right before I got injured. So I stopped, gave myself a little break. I tried running again. What happened? I felt a similar twinge, and I was like, I'm about to just destroy my right knee for the next couple weeks. So then I just took a break. I just walked the rest of the way back, and it was hurting all the way back. I totally made the right decision. So when you're playing the line between injuries and training hard, listen to your body and really just listen to your muscles and tendons. Pay attention. You gotta be smart about it. There's tons of people that can do this stuff without thinking about it because they have some sort of gift. I don't know what it is. I do not have this gift. I do not have the gift of just unbridled athleticism through the roof. I got great lungs. I'll give myself that. But I'm not too strong. I'm not too fast. My muscles don't have great endurance. I mean, if you're like that, you gotta be really smart about what you freaking do. You can't just go out and push your body to the limit without thinking about it. You gotta recognize, hey, my body specifically is gonna have limitations. And yes, this kind of sucks because it means that you gotta try a lot harder than some of these other people. But hey, that's just the cards you're dealt. I mean, what are you gonna do? Just complain about it and then say that someone else has an advantage? Yeah. And you probably have other advantages in other parts of your life. That's kind of how I dealt with it, but you have to be genuinely really smart. Otherwise, you're gonna injure the crap out of yourself. Yeah, so just be smart about it. Right now, just to give you a little update on myself, I have now run 2 miles and I really cranked up the speed because I think part of my issue was I was slowing myself down too much, and so I didn't feel comfortable with putting on the brakes essentially with my legs, and it was hurting my knees. So I just cranked up the velocity a little bit there. My heart rate is through the roof. It is at 177, but I'm running an 8-minute mile pace now, which is effectively a minute and a half faster than what I've been doing for the past week. So we're gonna see how that goes. A little bit of speed training in there in the middle of weeks to see how my body handles it. But again, this is just one of those stressors that I'm just trying to test to see if I can handle. And so far, with my 4 and how my legs are feeling, it can handle it. It can handle the 8-minute mile pace, which feels freaking fantastic. So much better than what it's felt like in recent weeks running super slow. But we'll see. We'll see how long I can keep this up for. Because I think eventually, because it's something I'm not used to, my muscles will get tired and all that pressure will get transferred to my tendons. Maybe they'll scream at me and say, "Slow down, motherfucker." Oh my God. But right now, we're doing excellent. So I'm gonna keep trying to keep it up and see how long I can go for this. How long I can go for this for. Jeez, I can't even speak normal now. Now you can tell I'm tired because I just can't speak. So we'll see how long I can do this for, and I'll let you guys know soon. So basically what I said would happen did happen. I ran at that huge, fast pace for a little while, and then my right knee kind of did that feeling of like, oh shit, I was about to give out. And so I had to slow it way down. Not even on purpose, just my legs just did it naturally. So I think I'm getting better at just listening to it, because now I'm not even thinking about it too much and my body's just doing it for me. But the bonus of pushing myself for even that little bit is that I ran in total this thing at a way faster pace than I've ever done before. Normally I'm sitting in the mid to high 9s, and for this one I think I'm going to be in the 8s. Probably not the 8s, maybe high 8s or low 9s. And part of that is because of the slow first and last mile, but who cares? You reduce your time over 4 miles by like 30 seconds to a minute. That's nuts. I don't care who you are. Oh my goodness. I just fucking did it. So, that honk was me almost getting run over because some lady wanted to take a green light, but she didn't have the right of way and I did. Whatever. I got a 1/10 of a mile left. And basically how I feel is like I pushed myself. Like I pushed my tendons to about where they're comfortable with. For a very brief moment there, it was a little bit past what they're comfortable with. So I adjusted. And I just shifted what I wanted to do. And so, with that, it means that my legs got a little bit stronger. I got a little bit more resilient. All while not hurting myself, which feels great, and running a little bit faster. So as I cross this 4-minute mile portion in just under 35 minutes, I can look at this and be super proud that I went this fast. And unbelievably fast at that. So there we go. Feels good. So with my handy dandy watch, I figured out that I ran 4 miles in 35 minutes. Now I know you guys don't want to do the math, so that comes out to an average of 8:44 per mile. That is leaps and bounds faster than what I was doing. At the beginning of the video, I had done 14.5 miles at an average of 9:48. And now I went down to 8:44. So I shaved off over a full minute in one run. This is hugely important and hugely satisfying for me. That makes me realize that I definitely can do this, but I just got to keep with the not getting injured and still pushing myself. So this one was huge, pushing myself. So that brought down my week total to, or it brought it up to 18.5 miles for 177 minutes, an average of 9:33. Just that one run brought me down an average of 15 seconds. So I'm super happy about that. I'm going to keep going. And over this next week, I'm going to try to push myself a little bit harder. And I won't get injured, because getting injured is the worst thing you can do. So play with that line, but always err on the side of caution, in my opinion.